Hi everyone and welcome back to Metics Media. In today's video, we'll be covering everything you need to know to get started with the marketing automation tool ActiveCampaign. This is a step-by-step tutorial that is designed to guide you through literally everything from setting up your account to creating your first email campaigns and automations. So here's a quick rundown of what we'll be covering in this tutorial. How to set up your ActiveCampaign account, how to import and manage your contacts, how to connect ActiveCampaign to your website, how to create a custom landing page, how to send out email campaigns, how to create automation workflows, and lastly, how to manage your leads in the ActiveCampaign CRM tool. To save you some time, I've included timestamps for each topic down below in the video description. So if you're looking for a specific part, you can just go directly there. So without further ado, let's jump right in and get started with this ActiveCampaign tutorial. So the first thing we're going to do is get us a 14-day free trial for ActiveCampaign. So go to the description of this video and click on the first link you find there. This will take you to the correct sign-up page where you can claim your free trial. All right, so once you're on this page, let's get signed up for a new ActiveCampaign account. Just come over here, type in your email address and click on Get Started. Then here we have to type in our name and phone number and click on Next Step. And then we have to answer a couple of questions about our business. So let's just do that. Once you've answered all the questions, just click on Next Step. And here choose a password for your ActiveCampaign account. Once that's done, let's click on Take Me to My account. And this will take us inside of the ActiveCampaign dashboard, which is what you're going to see whenever you log in to your ActiveCampaign account. So here on the left side, we have the ActiveCampaign tools, which you're going to use to create campaigns, build automations, manage contacts, and so on. I'm not going to go into each of them just right now because throughout the tutorial, I'm going to cover pretty much all of them. Then on the bottom left, we have some settings, which we're going to go into in just a moment. We have your account settings here on the bottom left. And then whenever you want to contact support, if you need help with something, then you just want to go to the bottom right corner where you can see this ActiveCampaign logo, click here, and then you can start a chat with the ActiveCampaign support, which is really good. So whenever you want to build something custom and you don't know how to do it, just contact support and they will help you out. All right, now before we go into how to build campaigns and how to manage your contacts and so on, we need to go into the settings and look at some basic default settings. So let's go to the bottom left and click on settings here. And here in the settings, there's two main things we want to do before we're able to send out email campaigns on ActiveCampaign. So let's come over here to advanced. And then let's go to email domain verification. Here is where you can type in the email that will be seen as the sender for every email campaign that you send out. For example, my domain is meticsmedia.com. So I want people to see that the email is coming from, let's say, info@meticsmedia.com or simon@meticsmedia.com. So this is the email that I'll use to send out my email campaigns. So I'm just going to type in that email here, and then I'm going to click on submit. Now we can see an email has been sent to verify this domain. Now we need to go into the inbox of this specific email and confirm that we actually have access to this domain and this email. So you should be getting an email that looks like this, where you can just click on verify. And this will take us back to our ActiveCampaign account, where now we can see that our email domain meticsmedia.com is now verified and we can use it to send out emails using ActiveCampaign. Now, if you don't already have your own domain like meticsmedia.com, then you can also use your regular email like a Gmail address or a Hotmail, whatever you're using. Type that in here and then verify it just the same way as we've done before. However, I do recommend you get your own branded custom domain because it increases your deliverability rates for your email campaigns and it also looks a lot more professional for your customers. And now the next thing we want to do is go to addresses here. And then here we have to add a physical business address that will then be visible at the bottom of every email campaign that you send out. This is mandatory, so you're going to need to add an address if you want to be able to send out email campaigns using ActiveCampaign. So let's just click on Add an Address here on the top right. Then just type in your business address. I've just typed in something random and click on add address. And then the last thing we want to also do is go to appearance and then scroll all the way down and make sure to turn off the ActiveCampaign branding. If you leave it on, then your email contacts will just randomly see the ActiveCampaign logo in your campaigns. And we can actually just turn this off here. And that was already it for the basic setup. So let's go back to the main dashboard by going to the ActiveCampaign logo on the top left. So next, let's look at how to import and manage your contacts on ActiveCampaign. So on the left side menu, let's click on Contacts. And then here you can see an overview of all of the contacts that you currently have on ActiveCampaign. So right now we only have our own email address that we've used to sign up with for ActiveCampaign. And then there's nothing else because we haven't imported anything yet. Now, as you can see here, ActiveCampaign actually offers you to help you migrate your lists and your automations from another provider into ActiveCampaign. And if you're interested in that, just click on request a free migration here. And then I think depending on the plan that you choose, they will help you set everything up the same way as you had it on the other provider. So that's really helpful. But in my case, I'm just going to click on no thanks here. So the way contacts are managed on ActiveCampaign is very similar compared to other providers. Like when we go to lists here on the top left, we can see all of our email lists, our contact lists. Now, by default, we have this master contact list here, where currently we have one contact, which is us. And if you want to, you can create more lists. So you can have a list for, let's say, people interested in a specific course, people interested in another product. So that's really up to you. So if you want to create a new list, just click on add list here on the top right and then create whatever list you want. Personally, I prefer to manage my contacts using tags rather than lists. So when we go to under manage, we can click on tags and then you can see you can add specific tags. So for example, if I have somebody interested in email marketing, I will create a tag called email marketing. And I will add that tag. And then whenever somebody signs up through a specific funnel that is about email marketing, I will assign that tag to that person. So I actually don't need multiple email lists. I can just send a campaign to everybody who has a specific tag. So that's why I personally only use one list to keep things kind of organized. So I'm not going to create any other lists. I'm just going to work with the master contact list here that we already have. And then under manage, you also have other ways on how you can manage your contacts, which I'm not going to go in detail here. But what I want to show you is how to import your existing contacts to ActiveCampaign if you are migrating from another provider. If you don't have any contacts yet, just skip to the next part of this tutorial. So to import contacts, just click on contacts here on the top left. And then on the top right, we can see add a contact or import. Now, if you want to, you can just click on add a contact and then add each single contact manually, which you probably don't want to do because it just takes too long. So what we're going to do is just click on import on the top right. And then we're going to import a file that we can export from the other provider. So let's say you've been using MailChimp or ConvertKit. You can just export all of your contacts as a CSV file. And then you want to download that file. And then once you've downloaded that, you can just come here, click on import from file. And then you want to look for that file. So I've just created an example file here. And click on open. Now, just to show you how this looks like, the file that you're going to be importing, it's basically just like an Excel sheet where you have your contact's email address, you have the name, and you have other information like where they're from, what they're interested in, the tags that you gave them, and so on. So once you've imported that file, this is what you're going to see. So all of the columns that we've seen before, we can also see here as lines. And now we want to make sure to import every attribute of our contacts correctly. So here we can see the column says name, and then we want to make sure it actually saves this information as name also in ActiveCampaign. So name is first name. That's fine because I only asked for the first name. And then email is going to be email address. That's obvious. That's great. Now let's scroll down and you want to just look at the ones that are assigned. So custom birth date is going to be subscribe date. So here you can see that's wrong. So you can either just create a new field here and add the information birth date so it takes it over correctly, or you can just not import this information if it's not important to you. So personally, I don't really care about the birth date of my leads or my contacts. So I just choose do not import this field. And then I'm going to go down, and then we have last update. It will save it as the last name, which is wrong. So let's just do not import this field either. So all I'm interested in is the email address and the name, which we have here. Once we've checked this, we can choose the list that we want to put those contacts on. So let's choose our master contact list. Then we can also add tags. So this is what I showed you before to basically segment your lists. Now, for example, we could add a tag which says imported from, let's say, MailChimp. So let's say imported from MailChimp and hit enter. And then we always know that everybody who has that tag was imported from MailChimp. All right, so that's all fine. Let's click on import now on the bottom right. And now it says that your import has been completed. So we can go to lists and then click on our master contact list. And then we can see the newly imported contacts that we just imported. Now, the next thing I want to show you is how to connect ActiveCampaign to WordPress. So what we're going to do is just create a simple form that we can then put on our website, and then people can just type in their email address, click on submit, and then they will end up on your email list, on your email newsletter. If you don't have a website and you want to use a landing page instead, and you want to build it with ActiveCampaign, then just skip ahead to the next part because I'm also going to show you how to do that. But now to connect your website to ActiveCampaign, we want to come over here, or first of all, we can go back to the dashboard here by clicking on the ActiveCampaign logo. And then we want to go to website. And then here we can see that we have two options. We have forms and we have pages. So if you already have a website, then you just need to create a form and put it on your website. But if you need to create a website like a landing page, then you want to click on pages. But we're going to create a form, so we're going to stick here to forms. So let's just click on create a new form. And then we have to first give our form a name. So let's just say default sign up form. And we also have different form styles. So we have the inline form, which is great to put like on a blog post. We have the floating bar where you can see just a bar at the top of the website to ask people to sign up. Or we have the floating box on the bottom right, or we have the modal option, which just pops up in the center of the screen. I'm going to show you how to create a simple inline form. So I'm going to click on inline form. And then we also already have to define the action. What will happen to the people who sign up on that form? So the easiest thing you can do is just subscribe it to a list. So subscribe to a list, and we only have one list currently. So it's going to be the master contact list. You can also add multiple actions. So you can add it to other lists as well, or you can tag them, whatever you want. So that's good for me. So I'm just going to click on create. And this will take us to the ActiveCampaign form builder, where we can design the sign up form that we'll put on our website. So the first thing we want to do here is click on options here on the top right. And then where it says on submit, this is where you can define what should happen when somebody actually types in their email address and clicks on submit. So by default, they will just see this message here. Thanks for signing up. If you want to change the text, you can just change the text here. Or if you want to send people to a specific website when they sign up, then you can just switch this to open URL and then type in the URL here wherever you want to send people when they submit their email address. I'm just going to leave it at show thank you, so they actually stay on the page where they sign up. Then we also want to click on this gear icon here where it says opt-in options. And here is where you can turn on or turn off the opt-in confirmation. So by default, the opt-in confirmation is turned on, which means that whenever somebody signs up using this form, they will get an email to have them confirm that they actually want to be on your email list. So this has advantages and disadvantages. The advantage is that you only get people who really want to be on your list, but the disadvantage is that if people don't confirm on that email, then this person won't be on your list and you can send them follow-up emails. So what I personally do is just turn this off, and then in my welcome email, I let everybody know that they can unsubscribe at any time at the bottom of every email. This way I don't lose any contacts, but that's really up to you. So let's click on save. Now let's click on style here in the center and then scroll all the way down. And then we want to uncheck the AC branding, the ActiveCampaign branding. We just want to make sure we can actually click the button, and this will just get rid of the ActiveCampaign logo at the bottom of your form. Now the next step is to actually customize the form to what you want it to look like. So let's click on fields, and then here we can see different things we can ask in the form. So by default, it just asks for the name and the email address. I'm just going to show you how to create a very simple form that looks very minimalistic and clean. So first, I'm not going to ask for the name. So I'm just going to click on the X here and remove the name. And then I'm going to click on the email field here, and I'm just going to delete the header as well. And then the header will be gone. I'm just going to type an email here, so then they can see email here in the field itself. And then I'm going to delete this message here also. And I'm just going to change the title here to, let's say, subscribe for our email newsletter, or whatever you want to add here. You can also just delete it altogether and then just add the text on your website. The next thing is I want to change some of the design options. So what you can do is just go to style and then play around with the colors here. The button color, for example, we can change this to, let's make this, let's say green, like this. Just play around with it until it looks like you want it to look. Now with this builder, it's kind of cumbersome, but if you want to change, for example, if you want to make the button a bit larger, we're going to have to add some custom CSS code. So I'm just going to show you what I would do. So I'm just going to go to the inspector, and then I'm going to click on this text field here, and I'm going to make the email text go into the center by just typing in text hyphen align colon center and then semicolon, and then you can see the email text will be in the center. And then I'm again going to click on the inspector, click on the button, and then here I'm going to change the width to 100%. So I'm going to type in width 100% semicolon, and just like that we have the button just with the entire width. So you can play around with this however you want to. If you want to do something and you don't know how to do it, just click on this button here, contact support, and then they will definitely help you to create the form exactly how you want it to look like. So let's say we're done with the form here. So let's click on integrate here on the top right. So now let's look at how to put that form that we've just created onto your website. So one way is to just copy the HTML code that you can see here and then put it in the HTML code of your website. However, that's not really the best way. So what you want to do is look if your website builder has an integration with ActiveCampaign, which a lot of website builders do, and then install that integration, and then it's going to be a lot easier to connect your forms to your website. Now I'm going to show you how to do it on a WordPress website and use the ActiveCampaign plugin on WordPress. So I have one example WordPress site here where we're going to install the ActiveCampaign plugin. So let's just go to plugins and click on add new here. And then let's search for ActiveCampaign. And there we go. This is the plugin we need to install. So let's just click on install now. So now the plugin is installed. Next, we need to connect this plugin with our ActiveCampaign account. So let's go to settings and then go to ActiveCampaign. And then we have to copy and paste the API URL and the API key from our ActiveCampaign account to these fields here. So let's go to our ActiveCampaign account and we can actually click on save and exit. Then here we want to go all the way to the bottom left where it says settings. Then let's go to developer. And then here we can see the API access. So the URL, let's just click on copy API URL, paste it in here, and then also copy the API key and paste it in here. And then click on connect. Then scroll down and click on update settings. And now ActiveCampaign is connected to our WordPress website. So now to put your form onto your website, we can, for example, go to our posts. And then I'm just going to go to this first example post here. And now we have the plugin installed, so we can just use the plugin to add any form that we have on our ActiveCampaign account and add it to our website. So if I want to have the form just like under this text here, I just click on the plus sign here on the bottom left, and I'm just going to look for ActiveCampaign. There we go. Here, AC form. So let's click on AC forms. And then here I can choose the form that we've created, the default sign up form. And there we go. Now we have the form that we have created on our WordPress website. To make this active, let's click on update. And now let's actually check if our form works. So let's go back to the WordPress dashboard. Then let's go to this post and then just type in an example address just to see if it works. I'm just going to type in example@gmail.com and click on submit. And now we can see the thank you message that we've seen before. And now we should be able to go back to ActiveCampaign, go to contacts. And now we can see example@gmail.com is now in our contacts. So the form works. So now let's look at how to create a landing page on ActiveCampaign. So to create a landing page, let's click on website on the left side menu. And now we're going to switch from forms to pages. Then let's click on create a new page. Then click add new page. And then here you have a lot of different templates for all kinds of different landing pages, or you can also just start with a blank template. Now in this example, I'm just going to choose one of the templates. So for example, this asset download one, this is a good template for people who want to basically give away a lead magnet for the contact. So an ebook, a checklist, or something like that. So let's click on use this template. Then let's name this page. So let's say we're giving away a checklist. So I just named this checklist download landing page and click on save. And this takes us inside of the website or landing page builder. This is kind of very similar compared to other website builders if you've used some of them before. So basically you have a preview of everything here in the center. Then on the right side, you have different blocks and elements you can basically add to your website. And here on the top, you can switch from desktop view to mobile view as well. If you get a lot of traffic from mobile, you definitely want to optimize your site for mobile as well. So let's just switch back to desktop. Then here on theme, you can change all the colors. So I'm just going to build something very simple. So I'm just going to first of all delete everything that I don't need. I'm just going to hit the trash icon here for everything I don't need. So I'm just going to do something very simple for the sake of this tutorial. I'm also going to delete the logo and actually this entire area. And I'm going to leave this picture here. So obviously you want to add a mockup or whatever you're using, like a picture of what you're giving away or what your landing page is about. You just click on it, click on replace here, and then upload whatever image you want to use. So I'm just going to change this text here to, let's say, increase. Here you want to obviously enter the main benefit of whatever your landing page is about, so what you're giving away. So let's say increase your sales by, I don't know, 312% in 1 month, implementing my optimization checklist. And that's going to be the title. And now on this side here, we're going to add a form. So the form is what people will be using to type in their information. So we're going to click on inline form here, and we're actually going to drag this to this side here. And then we can either use a form that we've already built. So we've already have this form built here. So I could just use that, or we can build a new form. So let's click on build a new form. And then we're going to give that form a name. Let's say landing page form. And whenever somebody signs up to this in this form, then let's say they will subscribe to the master contact list. Let's click on start building. And this will take us back to the form builder that I've already showed you how to customize your form to make it look exactly how you want it to look like. Now, what I want to mention here is that if you're using a landing page, a lot of the times you want people to get to the next page once they enter their details. So for example, if you're saying, give me your email address to see this video, then after they enter the email address, then they will get to the page where they can see the video, or you will send them the video, however you want to do it. But you want to make sure to go to options. And then if you want to send them to a specific page, you want to not just show a thank you message when they sign up, you want to probably send them to a specific URL. So you want to type in that URL here, which is going to be the second step of your funnel. So after the landing page. Now you can also build your next step here on ActiveCampaign, and then you can just type, come later on back to this form and put in the URL of that second page into this field. And then whenever they sign up on your landing page, they will get to the second page, which you can build after that. So let's just type in Google, just because I don't really have that page yet. And then let's click on add to your page. And this will add the new form to our page. Let's just delete this one as well. So now we have a very simple landing page where we just have one sentence, why they should sign up, an image of what we're giving away, and then the form where they can sign up. So now let's click on publish page here on the top right. And this will give us the URL that our landing page will be on. We can also use our own domain if we have one, and then we can have that landing page under our own domain. But let's now publish it under this ActiveCampaign domain. Click on publish. And now we can click on view live here and on the top right to check if our landing page works. So let's just type in a name and an email, example2@gmail.com. Click on submit. And now, as you can see, we get redirected to Google because that's the URL that we've typed in for the on submit option. So let's go back, go to contacts. And now we can see Simon with example2@gmail.com is in our contacts. So the landing page works. But now we can actually go back to website and go to pages. And now we can create the second page of the funnel. So we can click on add a new page, and then maybe we can use this template here, asset download 2, use this template. Then let's say this is the funnel step 2. Click on save. Then we obviously want to customize this second page as well. Once it's done, let's click on publish page here on the top right and just publish it again on the ActiveCampaign domain. Let's click publish. And now let's connect these two pages that we've created. So let's go back to pages here. And then here we can see the first page, the checklist download landing page, and then the funnel step 2. Now let's go to this arrow, go to get URL and copy this URL. And now we want to have everybody who signs up on this page get redirected to the second step of the funnel. So we have to go to forms because people type in their information on the form. And I've used this one, landing page form 2. So let's click on edit here. And then let's go to options, and we're going to change this on submit URL to the one we have just copied before. I'm just going to paste it in, click on integrate, save and exit. So now when we go back to pages and then visit the landing page here, now let's just type in something random and click on submit. And now, as you can see, we get taken to the second page that we've created before, which is the second step of the funnel. Now, for those of you who want to connect your custom domain to your landing page, I'm going to leave a link with some instructions on how to do that in the video description below. And I believe you also need to be on the ActiveCampaign Plus plan so that you're able to connect your own custom domain to your pages. So now let's look at how to send out email campaigns on ActiveCampaign. So to create and send campaigns, we want to go to the left side menu and click on campaigns. And then to create our first campaign, let's click create your first campaign. Here we're going to give our campaign a name. So let's just say this is going to be a weekly newsletter. Let's say this is number 8. And then we have different campaign types. So we have the standard campaign, which is just like a one-time email, like a newsletter. Then we have the automated campaign. This is the automation email workflow, which ActiveCampaign is very good at. And I'm going to show you exactly how to build a workflow in the next part. Then we have the autoresponder, which is just a sequence of emails that will go out when somebody subscribes to your list. So you can build it out using an autoresponder. You can do split testing, so you can try different types of emails and then compare the performance to see which type of email campaign works the best. You can have RSS triggered emails, and then you can have date-based campaigns that just go out for when, let's say, your contacts have a birthday, then it will send them like a birthday discount or something like that. But for now, let's stick with the standard campaign. So let's choose this and then click on next on the top right. And then here we have to choose who will be receiving this specific email that we're about to create. As we only have one list currently, we can only choose the master contact list. And if you have different tags for your contacts, you can also segment the recipients by the tags as well. Then let's click on next. And then here we want to choose what type of email editor we want to use to create our email. So with the email designer, you have a lot more freedom. So you can add images, buttons, graphics, and make your email look very nice. And then you also have the text only editor, which is great for if you only want to write a text email with maybe a few links. So I'm going to show you how to use the email designer because the text only one is really easy to use. So let's click on continue here. And then you can either start with a template from ActiveCampaign, which you can see here, or you can click on start from scratch. I'm going to just use a template. So I'm going to use the weekly newsletter template here, click on select. And then here we have to enter our sender details. So the name, I would change this to, let's say, Simon from Metics Media. And then the from email is the email that people will see where this email comes from. So I want to change this to my branded email, which is simon@meticsmedia.com. And I've already verified this email in the beginning of the video. If you haven't done this, then you can still do it here. And then the email subject is obviously very important with email marketing. So let's say AI tools are changing my life, just so people want to click on this email and click on continue. And this takes us into the email editor where we can start designing our email. So this is quite similar to creating pages on ActiveCampaign. You basically start with the template that you've chosen here. When you want to change something, just click on it. And then you can either just change the text by just highlighting it and then writing whatever you want. Here on the top, you also have some formatting options like underlining, adding links, and so on. Then on the right side, you have more options. So you can change the background color, alignment, spacing, and so on. If you want to change a picture, just click on, let's, for example, say logo, and then change your logo here. If you want to add something new, just go to content and then blocks and then drag in whatever you want to add. For example, we could add a timer here below the button, just drag and drop it into the email canvas. Then you can just click on the element and then choose, for example, here when the timer should go to 0. So a lot of options here with this email designer. You also have structures. So if you want to have a 2-column design, you can just drag in this design here. And then you have 2 columns. You can add, blocks. So let's say on the left side, we have a text. On the right side, we have an image. And you can just build out your email the same way as you build out a simple page. You also have the global settings here on the top right, where you can just go through and just make sure everything is kind of branded to how you want it to look. You can also preview your email to see how it looks like by going on this preview icon on the top right. And then you're going to see a preview of your email on mobile and also on desktop. You can also click on this test email button here and then send this email to your own address to see exactly how it looks like on your email provider inbox. So let's say we're done creating our email. So then we can just go to the top right and click on next. And this will take us to the campaign summary, where we just want to quickly review before we send our campaign. So the subject looks fine. Then we have the pre-header text. We don't have anything in here yet, but we can actually add something by clicking on edit. And then we can add a preview of the content of the email. So let's say we add something like the first AI tool that changed my life is ... So people will actually see that sentence before they open the email. So that kind of helps entice people to actually click on the email, which is very useful. So let's click on save, then again go to next. And now as you can see, we have this sentence as the pre-header text. Then the from email looks fine. The list looks also fine. Address, this is the default address of the business that we've set up before. That's mandatory. Then we have some options like we want to track if people open the email. And then if you have links, you can also add link tracking to see who actually clicked on a link in the email, which is also very useful. So just go through these options here. You can again send a test email to your own account if you want to preview the email, whatever you need to do. And then we also have the spam check. And if it's passed, then it's good. If it doesn't, then you want to maybe go back, change some words, like you don't want to add things like free or maybe add too many images, because if you do, then the email will just end up in the spam folder. But here it looks good. So we can now we can schedule the email by just typing in when we want to have this email to be sent. So let's say tomorrow at this time, we can just turn this on and then it would be sent at a specific time. Or we can send it now. So let's just click on send now to have this campaign sent to this email list. And now under campaigns, we can see our first email campaign, the weekly newsletter 8, which is currently preparing to send. Now, once it's sent and you've waited some time, you can actually check the performance of your email by just going to reports here on the left side, where we should now be able to see that email that we've just sent out. So as I've just sent it out and as I've sent it to random addresses, we don't get any opens or clicks. But here you can basically see how many opens you got, how many clicks you got, and basically track the performance of different campaigns that you're sending out. So now let's look at how to create email automation workflows or sequences here on ActiveCampaign. So before we go ahead and create our own email automation workflow, I want to quickly show you an example to make you understand exactly how this works. So here is an example of a simple email automation workflow with the goal to get your contacts to sign up for a phone consultation. So every automation starts with a trigger or just something that will trigger this automation for a specific contact. So in this case, this would be somebody signs up in a form, so submits any form, as you can see here. Once this takes place, then this automation will begin. The first step of this automation will be an email which will be sent out to the contact that signed up through the form, letting them know that they can set up a phone consultation. So this would be just a simple email. Then the automation will wait for 2 days, as you can see here, the wait block. And then after the 2 days, this automation will check if the contact has the tag call scheduled, because when the call is scheduled, then the contact will automatically get the tag call scheduled. And the automation will know that and know exactly which way the contact should go now. Should it just end this automation because the call is actually scheduled and the goal of this automation is complete? Or if the tag doesn't exist on the contact, it means that this person hasn't scheduled a call yet. So we need to send out a reminder to schedule the call. So then it just goes to the no. So this is kind of an if and else block here. So if the tag doesn't exist, it goes to the no way here. And then the reminder email will be sent out to this lead to actually go ahead and schedule the call. Now, after this email, the automation will end, as you can see here, with this end this automation block. But if you want to, you can just check again if the tag exists and then send another reminder email. So you can do this basically infinitely. But this is a very simple automation with the goal to have somebody schedule a call. Great. So now that we know what email automations are, let's set up our own email automation workflow. So let's go to automations on the left side menu, and then let's click on create automation here on the top right. Then we can either start from scratch or we can use a pre-made automation for specific goals like follow-up automations or interest tagging automations, an upgrade incentive and outreach automation. So you can get some inspiration here, but we're just going to start from scratch. So I'm going to click on start from scratch here, click on continue. Then, like I said before, every automation starts with an event, like a trigger. So what I'm going to build here is just a simple welcome email automation sequence. So the automation will start whenever somebody signs up to my email list. So what I'm going to use as a trigger is just subscribes to a list. And then we have to define what list this contact subscribed to. So let's just do master contact list here. And let's have this only run once. Then if you want, we can also segment contacts entering this automation. We're just gonna not do this for now and click on start. And then here we can choose the first action in this automation workflow. So something that I like to do is I like to tag people that come from a specific place. So let's say I have a funnel that is about email marketing, and then I want people to have the tag email marketing so that I know that these people are interested in email marketing. And in the future, when I have something to inform them about or promote, then I know who will be interested in a specific product about email marketing. So to add the tag, we can just go to contacts, and then I'm going to click on add a tag, which is going to be the first action in this automation. I'm going to add the tag email marketing, which I've already created here in ActiveCampaign. Then I'm going to click save, and this is going to be the first action. So all that happens is people sign up to the list and they get the tag email marketing. Obviously, that only makes sense when everybody who goes to this list is actually interested in email marketing. Otherwise, the tag doesn't make sense. Now, the next action, we can just click on the plus icon and then add the next action in this automation. Let's send them an email. So let's click on sending options and then click on send an email. Now we can create this email. So we can just type in, let's say, welcome email. And then we could start with a template or use a past campaign. Let's just create a new one here, start with a template. Then let's use the text only editor, click on continue, click on start from scratch. Then here I'm just gonna leave the from name. This is okay. Then let's say welcome. And then let's say we have been giving away a checklist. Here's what you requested. And then click on continue. And then here, obviously, you would just want to type the email, give them what they signed up for, and basically welcome them to our list. Then let's click on next once the email is finished. Then here, review your campaign. Once that's done, click on finish. And then we can choose to have this email sent immediately when somebody signs up to the email list, which makes sense for the welcome email. Or you can also use predictive sending, which has, like, ActiveCampaign learns when people open their emails the most. So it will just predict when would be the best time to send this email. But for the welcome email, I want to send it immediately. So I'm going to save this here. So now we've set up the beginning of this email automation sequence with the welcome email. Now, the beauty about email automations is that we can send people down different avenues depending on how or if they interact with our email campaigns. So for example, what I could do now is have ActiveCampaign check if the contact actually opened the email within 2 days. And if the contact didn't, then I can just send them the same email again with a different subject line. Or if they have opened the email within 2 days, I will just send them the next email and then the next email and so on. So to do that, we could just go to the plus sign here. And then let's go to conditions and workflow and click on the wait block. Then we could either just wait for a specific period of time until the next action will be triggered, or in my case, I want to wait until a specific condition is met. So I'm going to click on this option. And then I want to check if I'm going to go to actions here and I'm going to click on has opened because I want to check if the email was opened. I can leave this to any email or you could just select your specific campaign, but we only have one email so far, so any email is fine. And then I'm going to check this here, and then I'm going to have this be checked for 2 days. So after 2 days, no matter what happens, the automation is just going to continue after 2 days. Then I'm going to click on save. Now, again, if the contact doesn't open the email, then the automation will wait for 2 days. But as soon as the email is opened, the automation will continue here with the next block that I can add now. So let's add an if-else block here under conditions and workflow. Let's click on if-else, and then I'm going to check the same thing again. So I'm going to do actions has opened and do any email, save. So now after 2 days, if the email wasn't opened, it will just continue to this block, and then it will go down to the no avenue here because the email wasn't opened. And we're checking this again with this block. If the email was opened, it will go down the yes road. So what are we going to do if somebody doesn't open the email? So we're just going to click on the plus sign here. Then we're going to just go to sending options, send an email, and then we're going to create another email. So let's just do welcome email follow up. This is just for you. Your subscribers are not going to see what you type in here, follow up. And then let's just start with the template and then create the same email again with a different subject line, or even create a totally new email. So now I've added the second welcome email, which is the follow-up email for everybody who hasn't opened the first one, which is this here. Then we want to check again. We want to give them some time to open any of our first 2 welcome emails. So we're going to click on the plus sign again. Then we're going to go to conditions and workflow. Click on wait, then again choose wait until specific conditions are met, and I'm going to do the same thing. Actions, has opened any email, and then we're going to do this for, let's say, we're going to give them another, let's say 7 days to see and open any of our 2 emails, and then click on save. Then once the conditions are met or the time is has run out, we're going to go to if else again, and we're going to check if somebody has opened the email, save. And then if isn't the case, if no email was opened, then I can basically assume that this person isn't really interested in what I am sending them, or that this was a fake email and I don't want to have it on my list. So if the answer is no, I'm just gonna go to contacts, and then I'm gonna click on unsubscribe to remove this person from my list, because I don't want to have any inactive contacts on my list. It's just gonna hurt my deliverability rates in the long run. So I just remove those people if they're not active or interested. If the answer is yes, then we can just move them back to the main road here where they get some follow-up emails, giving them more information and maybe at some point following up with a promotion of a product. So here, what we could do for people who have opened the email, we just go to the plus sign here. Then we want to wait. We don't want to send the next email immediately after they've opened. So we're going to click on sending options, or actually conditions and workflow, click on wait. And we're just going to wait. So let's say we're just going to wait for 1 day. Click on save. And then after 1 day, we're going to send the next email. So I'm going to just click on the plus sign, sending options, send email. And then we can do the same thing again. So we can add another, let's say we can add another wait block. And let's say we wait for another 2 days, save. And then we add another email here, or we segment again. So everybody who has clicked on a link, we're going to give them a specific tag, or whatever you want to do here in this automation. Now here, as you can see, this string is not really connecting to this one. So we need to actually add the people who had a bit longer to open the first email to also get to this string here where they receive the follow-up emails. So we're going to click on the plus sign here, and then we're going to click on go to, and this way we can just connect different blocks. So go to, and then we're going to go to the wait for 1 day. So whenever somebody doesn't open the email right away, they will get to the follow-up email. And whenever they open any email, they will get to this second string where they will just receive the follow-up emails. So this was just an example, and obviously there's a million other automations you could build with ActiveCampaign. So whenever you don't know how to build something, I would highly recommend to just click on this support icon here on the bottom right and ask ActiveCampaign to help you out to build your workflow that you have in mind. Because it can be really overwhelming, especially with ActiveCampaign, because they give you so many options. So once you are finished with setting up your workflow, you want to also activate it. So you want to click on activate here on the top right to make sure it actually triggers when somebody signs up to your email list. So let's now also look at ActiveCampaign's CRM feature called Deals. This is a very powerful tool that can help you manage your sales team and organize your leads and help you convert those leads into a customer. So on the left side menu, let's click on Deals, which will take us to the CRM feature of ActiveCampaign. Now, the first thing we have to do is create our sales pipeline, which consists of the different stages where a lead goes through to become a customer. So let's click on create a pipeline here. Then let's give the pipeline a name. Let's say I was selling courses. So I would just type in something like Metics Media courses, and then group access. Here you can define who has access to this pipeline. If you have your ActiveCampaign users set up, then you have the default currency. Let's just leave this at US dollars. Then the assignment method. You can either have the sales member manually assigned. So you can say who has to, let's say, follow up with a specific customer or lead, or you can have it round robin. So whatever you want. I'm going to leave it at manually assign. Then I'm going to click on add. And now we can see the default pipeline with 3 stages: the to contact stage, the in contact stage, and the follow-up stage. You can also add more stages by just clicking on add stage here on the top right. Then choose a color, and then let's say this is a call scheduled. Click on add, and then you have a new stage. Now I'm just going to delete this again and just stick to the 3 stages that are here by default. Now for each stage, you can just add a deal. Logically, the deal always starts at the first stage. So the to contact stage, we can just click on add deal. Then the deal title, let's say this is the course or the product that somebody's interested in. So let's say this is the basic course. And then we can also assign a deal value. So you can organize your deals and prioritize your deals based on the value. So I'm gonna, let's just say it's $1,000. Then we can also add a forecasted close date or a description here. And what's important is to actually add to the contact, the lead here that is already on your list. So let's say this is Simon, and then we can click on add deal. Now this deal is in the to contact stage. So the cool thing here is whenever the person has been contacted, Simon has been contacted, we can move that in the in contact stage. And then once we have to follow up, we can just move that to the follow up stage. Once we've closed the deal or the deal is won, we can just drag this to the won area here, or if the deal is lost, we can drag it here to the lost area. But let's just put it back to the to contact, which is the first stage. Now, when we are interacting with our leads, we can just open up the deal here, and then we can add information. We can also add tasks. So for example, if we need to schedule a call with somebody, we can just click on add task here. Then let's just say call, task type is call, and then we can add a date. So let's say we have to call this person by, let's say Friday, 16:23. And save task. We can also assign this task to a specific sales rep who has to do this task. So click on save task. Then we can also add files. We can go to actions and send an email. So just to stay on top of things, you can have everything here in ActiveCampaign. And then you can also see how many days you have currently until you have to complete a task. You can also, by the way, automate moving these deals to a specific column, to a specific stage by using automations. And when you have a lot of deals in this pipeline with a lot of tasks to complete, a nice view is this view here, the task view, by clicking on this icon here. And then you can see all the overdue tasks, all the tasks that need to be assigned, the upcoming tasks, the scheduled tasks, always along with the deal value. So you can really prioritize what you have to do first in order to optimize for revenue. So I hope this video helped you getting started with ActiveCampaign. If it did, definitely give the video a thumbs up and leave a comment down below. I'd really appreciate that. And subscribe to the channel if you want to see more in-depth tutorials just like this one.